Hey, good morning and welcome to eGroup and Citrix's presentation today on cloud networking and how to build a cloud network on your cloud journey. I'm Clint Boylston. I am the account executive at eGroup and look forward to kind of having this conversation with everyone today around cloud networking. So just before we jump into the Citrix networking pieces, just a quick overview on eGroup for those that are wondering. eGroup is an IT solutions provider. We've been in business for over 20 years, going back to 1999. Our focus is on delivering speed and certainty to the data center and cloud. And how we do this is by picking technology and solutions that are simple and effective and provide you with the best-in-class support for your organization to make you more competitive in the industry that you're in. Um, we're a debt-free, self-funded organization, and why we mention that is that we have the flexibility to deliver the needs that your organization have, and we're not put on holds or even, we don't have to focus on technologies that investors would want us to focus on. We pick and choose the technologies that we think are applicable to the industry based on what our industry experts think. So our focus with Citrix is not, there's no overlying political factor. We believe in Citrix and the technology it provides. In fact, in 1999, when we started as a business, we started as a Citrix partner. And that's kind of how we got started. Back then it was all about virtualization, right? And that was obviously where eGroup was founded on, and really was focused in heavily with Citrix. Obviously coming out of that virtualization partnership, we realized that having a data center practice was something that was very applicable and worthwhile. So we started building out a data center practice, and then now we really kind of find ourselves helping organizations really embrace the hybrid cloud. We have a number of services built around data center architecture, hybrid cloud services, both on the private and public cloud sides of the house, and then obviously securing that and building out that network, which we're going to talk about today, and helping organizations stay up and running through the face of adversity. We're a tier 2 managed services provider, so really where we're focused here is we have the brain power and horsepower to provide organizations with best-in-class IT services, no matter what the obstacles or what the challenges are today. We can provide services that help you guys stay focused on being competitive in your marketplace and providing your end users with the technology they need to be competitive, while we're happy to handle some of the more mundane tasks just to keep your business moving full steam ahead. And just a couple of notes on organizations and what they have to say about eGroup. We work with over 300 plus organizations across North America and even into Canada. And we're working in roughly 38 of 50 states today. So we're widespread. We've got a very distinguished group of engineers that are all over the place in terms of location to be able to provide our customers with best in class services no matter where you are in the US and in Canada. Today, like I said, we're talking about Citrix and cloud networking. So I'd like to introduce Daniel Chiari from Citrix and have him kind of take over the presentation and talk a little bit more about cloud networking. Daniel?
Hi team, how are we doing today? Dan Chiari, Citrix. Appreciate eGroup for having us on the line today and letting us talk a little bit about how to approach building a better cloud native network with Citrix. So I'll go ahead and have you, Clint, kick me the rock. So along with me, I'm going to have my counterparts, Rich Lyons and Nick Tucker, delivering a bit of this content and material, and also conducting a demo for the team here. I want to make sure we're not killing you guys with PowerPoint. So let's jump right into the agenda. First, we want to overview what a hybrid multi-cloud is. What is that deployment model? What can Citrix offer to approach a cloud-native network? We'll talk a little bit about our key components here at Citrix and how we approach that. The ADC, artist formerly known as NetScaler, is where we'll start. We'll talk a little bit about the workspace and essentially how that's a comprehensive interface for the delivery and access of all of your corporate data? And then how do we make sure that that performance is where you need it to be, especially in this work from home era? And that's when we'll talk about SD-WAN and conduct a bit of a demo for the team here. So kicking it off, I'm sure you've heard the moniker of hybrid multi-cloud, or HMC here. This is a deployment model where that's becoming a lot more prevalent with our customers here today, or rather, with our clients and peers here in the market. We're leveraging multiple clouds, whether it be Azure, Google, AWS, to host our resources, and still figuring out how to build a network in order to deliver all of that corporate data to all of our end users. So that's something that we're going to be running through, and essentially how Citrix approaches that. So to start off with ADC, I'm going to kick it over to my counterpart, Rich Lyons, to work through some of the ways that ADC tackles essentially delivering our application in a cloud-native network.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Cool, man. So thanks again to eGroup for having Citrix on. We greatly appreciate it. And we're going to start off, kicking it off with the Citrix Application Delivery Controller, talking a little bit about that. And Dan mentioned, the Citrix ADC is what we're calling the product now. It was formerly called the Citrix NetScaler. And I know when you take a look at this diagram, it's a little bit of an eye chart. But I think what's really important to take from this slide is that our Citrix ADC greatly enhances the delivery of applications to your customers, regardless if those applications are residing in an on-prem data center or a private or a public cloud. This is also regardless of what the ADC form factor is. We don't care whether the customer is using a hardware appliance, using a virtual appliance, or even using one of our virtual DevOps appliances. The same operational consistency exists across all form factors and provides customers with the exact same features and functionality. So basically, every single Citrix ADC, wherever it's deployed, provides customers with 100% application availability through load balancing capabilities and intelligent service and health monitoring features. That's the power of any. Our Citrix ADC gives customers the ability and flexibility to choose whatever ADC form factor they want, physical or virtual. It just doesn't matter. And as I mentioned earlier, they get the same features out of everyone across the board. That provides a level of consistency that no other vendor out there can match. We also allow them to have their choice of hypervisor, whether it's ours, whether it's VMware, or even Microsoft. We would never want to paint our customers into a corner and force them to go with one specific vendor over another. We give the customers the power to choose. We even give them their choice of one cloud provider, or having workloads in multiple public clouds or multiple orchestration platforms. Regardless of how those customers are delivering those applications, we're going to provide full visibility across all on-prem and cloud environments through that single management console. Click forward. And again, that simply means that one single solution to deal with all the complexity. One API, one code base, one feature set. And look, Citrix understands all this. We understand that this move to the cloud presents a lot of challenges that customers didn't have to think about several years ago. It's requiring customers to make certain infrastructure decisions in order to support this new way of delivering applications. That old legacy hardware NetScaler that once powered those on-prem data centers now needs to be flexible in the hybrid and multi-cloud. All of the big cloud service providers like Azure or AWS, they'll tell your customers that they have the load balancing capabilities that your customers need to adopt to the cloud. But the harsh reality here, guys, is that most of these global server load balancing capabilities don't provide the end-to-end functionality or visibility that your customers are going to need to deliver applications from multiple clouds. Again, this is where our single code base allows customers to use multiple form factors to deliver the same application performance and have the same experience, giving your customers that full true hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure. And with our pooled licensing model, your customers can now make the throughput and the actual ADC instances portable. Makes it really easy for them to move capacity around to wherever the network traffic is the most heavy. And when those resources are no longer required, they simply just check them back into the common pool for another ADC in the environment to utilize. And all of this is managed through our ADM, which stands for Application Delivery Management. This is what allows customers to orchestrate and manage the entire infrastructure using that one single pane of glass, providing deep visibility into the overall application delivery, once again, regardless of where that workload is hosted. And this overall strategy, in closing, is really what provides companies the agility, the choice, and the reliability they need to deliver a complete workspace while simultaneously avoiding that single vendor cloud lock-in. And I'll kick it back to Dan.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate that. So, highlighting essentially the fact that, now we're giving our customers the flexibility and the availability to have deep insight into their entire network, regardless of where the resources lie. I want to talk about the last piece of that really brings all of that together for a customer internal network, regardless of once again, where those repositories sit. And that's the Citrix Workspace, which is essentially really the glue that ties everything together in a beautiful end user experience. It kind of tells the same story we've been telling now for 30 years, but really kind of, amplifies that with a more robust experience here in the work from home era, allowing our customers to have that productivity with integration tools, mail, search for any files that you need within your internal network, single sign-on capabilities, and then access to all of the applications that are essentially delivered by all of our network services that we just went through, our ADCs and gateways, and we'll be essentially monitoring that performance with our SD-WAN, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Cybersecurity threat detection, utilizing our predictive analytics to understand, not what the data is, but how the end users are actually behaving with those applications to ensure that we're providing the best end user experience while high level security as well. And then, of course, things like endpoint management, making sure that we have the same level of experience on any device, whether it be an iPhone, tablet, Linux device, thin client, you name it. Of course, that's the name of the game here at Citrix and has been for over 30 years. And then, of course, our traditional VDI and app delivery, which is something that we've been known for. And this is just the architecture so that you understand this is all being orchestrated with our Citrix Cloud. Regardless if you have your repository sitting in a public cloud, if you're spinning them up and delivering them on-prem, if you have legacy apps or homegrown applications that you need to make sure your end users are getting a hold of, all of that stuff is going to be delivered essentially to your end users, which you're going to see here on the left-hand side. And once again, that's on any device in the same story that we've been telling now here for 3 decades. And now, as I mentioned, Citrix has been taking a step further here, not only in the work from home era, but as we've been taking a look at the onset of hybrid multi-cloud deployments. How do we make sure that we're integrating web apps, SaaS apps into everything that you're delivering in a single pane of glass? And, I know it's a small picture here, but if you see the bigger screen, on the left-hand side, you're always going to be able to access your applications, your desktops, and even any file that you might have on your network in your traditional Citrix experience. But we've taken it a step further and have added our predictive analytics to understand how the user is actually behaving with their mission-critical applications and essentially making life for the end user a lot easier. Now we have an actual intelligent feed with micro app integration to make sure that any of the functions that you're doing on a day-to-day basis is essentially spun up for you and teed up for you to boost that productivity for our end users, giving our customers that bit of edge when it comes to the competition. And of course, allowing things like single sign-on and universal search. And you'll see the phone here, and that's just to make sure that we're denoting that this is going to be the same end user experience regardless of what device you're utilizing. And then finally, just making sure that, we're not known as the Zen App, Zen Desktop guys or the VDI guys. I mean, I know that Citrix has been put in that bucket for quite some time, but our workspace is knocking down use cases that are really prevalent at most of our end users here today, whether it be BYO initiatives, O365 migrations, ways to automate workflow, hybrid multi-cloud initiatives to support offices and branch offices with our SD-WAN that we're going to get to in just a second here. And then, of course, Windows 10 migrations. So those are just some of the ways that Citrix is that integral glue that holds this entire network together. So to jump right back into SD-WAN in our demo, I'll kick it back over to Rich to finish off the PowerPoint here, and then we'll kick it over to Nick to run through the SD-WAN demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Cool. Thank you. So our SD-WAN, this is the second appliance in major offering in Citrix's networking portfolio. And there's probably a lot of your customers out there that don't even know that Citrix has an SD-WAN offering. Not only do we have one, our SD-WAN is purpose-built to help customers optimize delivery of their virtual, cloud, and SaaS applications on a secure, flexible, wide area network. What we do is we do provide and give customers the ability to increase the performance and the reliability of those traditional enterprise applications or even SaaS applications, and of course, virtual desktops over any network, while simultaneously simplifying the branch network. We also employ a fully integrated edge security solution. So therefore, companies can protect themselves from any threat without inhibiting network performance. And what this does is this simply results in a much better cloud and SaaS experience, allowing your customers' employees to be even more productive. And finally, organizations can enjoy flexible deployment options to automate connectivity to the cloud. So this gives them that freedom of choice. And with our SD-WAN 110, before I kick it over to Nick, I did want to touch on this because this is a solution from Citrix that has a ton of relevance in this wacky, wild COVID-19 world in which we're all living. So I think it probably goes without saying that SD-WAN doesn't really do much good to help branch office workers connect seamlessly and quickly to the cloud when there is nobody working in the branch offices. I mean, I'm sure everybody on this call right now or who's listening is probably working from home. So companies are out there searching for ways to make it simple and fast for remote workers to connect into the network from home offices or in small branch locations. This is where our new SD-WAN 110 appliance comes in. It can be deployed in the small micro branches or in a home. And what it does is it boosts bandwidth and ensures connection resiliency with options to connect broadband and combine it with LTE. One of the really cool things about this appliance is it's plug and play. What that means is that when this appliance is delivered to a home office, there's no configuration needed to be done by the end user. They just plug it in, power it on, and the config will automatically get pushed down to the appliance from the master control node at the data center. So now home workers can realize the same amazing SD-WAN benefits from their home offices as they would if they were sitting in the company's branch office or at the company headquarters. So Nick, with that, I'll segue over to you for a quick SD-WAN demo.
Excellent. Thank you, Rich. Well, thank you for that. Just want to make sure, are we seeing the diagram topology in front of us right now? Or actually moved over here. Perfect.
We are.
Excellent. So let me expand this a little bit if I can. I have multiple. There we go. So in today's demo, what we're going to showcase is a self-contained environment. It's being hosted in a single Zen server hypervisor in our Citrix demo cloud. Now, everyone should have access to this. And if you take a look at the diagram in front of you, we're going to see a simple two-dimensional diagram. On the left-hand side, we're going to see the branch location, otherwise known as the remote site. And on the right side, we're going to see the virtual data center. And you're going to see two SD-WAN devices. And they're both going to be running VPX standard editions just to showcase what we're going to be talking about today. And then if you look in the middle, we're going to be working with 3 different WAN links. We're going to be working with a partial MPLS running a 0.5 megabyte link. We're going to be running a broadband internet 2 megabyte link. And then we'll have the LTE, which is running a 1 megabyte link. That's going to be acting as a standby link. So for this first exercise, we're going to be showcasing link aggregation, network resiliency, and the standby WAN link. And we're going to be doing this by using the Jperth tool. So let's go ahead and there we go. See if I can, perfect. Now, get rid of this menu here. Okay, so now this tool here, this is called the Jperth tool. It's a network performance measurement graphical tool, and it's residing on the branch location. Now, the purpose of this tool here is to showcase the bandwidth between the LAN and the WAN. So I'm going to be pointing the server address to the data center, utilizing port 5001, and then I've also increased the transmit time so we get a better idea of what the bandwidth will be running. So as soon as I click the Jperth tool, what we should be seeing, based on the diagram that I showed you, is the aggregation of the WAN links between the MPLS and the internet. So we'll see about 2122 megabytes connection, and you should see a steady stream. Upon seeing that stream, we're going to switch over to the branch SD-WAN dashboard, and we're going to be focusing on the monitoring tool. Now, on the monitoring tool, we're going to see this path state and virtual path state. Now, green is good in the sense that we have a pre-configured environment. So this is just to showcase, again, link aggregation, network resiliency, and the standby link. Now, if the virtual path shows green and it shows good, that basically means that we have established a WAN connection. Now, the path state, if you look on the left, you're going to see it's going to be branch to data center all the way through. So if the path state were to go down, we would just do a failover in a matter of 1 or 2 packets to the next available link. If you navigate all the way to the right, you're going to see the bidirectional one-way traffic, the jitter, packet loss, and congestion stats. So to showcase network resiliency, we're going to use what we call a WAN emulator. So if we navigate over this WAN emulator, now if you look at the diagram, and I can pull it up, I think I closed it actually, it's going to be between the data center and the branch location. This is going to simulate packet loss and latency. So here we're going to see 6 different interfaces. Interface 1 and 2 are going to simulate MPLS, 3 and 4, the broadband, and 5 and 6, LTE. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to navigate to the MPLS interface, click on Start, and we're going to simulate 100% packet loss on the MPLS. Now, as soon as I click Apply, if we look at the Jperth tool, you will notice a slight drop. And then we go over to the branch location, see if I can get them both up. Let me click on Start so we see the refresh there. And you notice there's a quick drop, and the path state showed as red as dead, but the overall virtual path is up and running simply because we just failed over to the internet connection there, the internet WAN link. Now, to truly showcase network resiliency, we're going to now fail the broadband connection. So we go back to the WAN emulator. We look at the advanced mode. We're going to go Ethernet 4. We'll show 100% packet loss here. Click Apply. Go back to the branch location. You're going to see the immediate drop that we captured, and the internet link is in a down state. The virtual path is still up, but we failed over to the what we call the standby link, which is the LTE. Now, the reason why we have LTE as standby is because it tends to be a little bit more expensive. So right now we are running on about, give or take, a 1 megabyte connection. And this is just showcasing how, even though the 2 main WAN link connections dropped, we're still able to make a connection. Now, to show you how quickly we come back up, let me go back to the WAN emulator and bring back those 2 WAN links. Click Apply here. Navigate back to the MPLS. And click Apply Settings. Actually, let's go here, here. So you saw how quickly, it's a matter of milliseconds that we're able to detect if the failover has recovered, and we'll drop the standby link and connect back to the WAN, the main logical tunnel, which is consisting of the broadband link and the MPLS. And it was just a matter of 1 or 2 packets. Now these packets that we're detecting allows us to dictate which priority we're going to offer for those applications that we're connecting to. And our SD-WAN solution can detect over 4,500 applications. So with that in mind, we're going to go to our second exercise. Now our second exercise, we're going to be connecting to this other desktop. And let's quickly go over here. All right. And we're going to be launching a video real quick. And what I want to showcase here, the reality is that we're playing a video. And even if you experience a WAN failure, like a internet were to go down, MPLS were to go down, the video link will still be up and running. So let me quickly showcase this. Go back here and let's simulate a internet connection. And let's bring that down real quick. All right, so the internet connection went down. If we look over at the SD-WAN dashboard, it should show us down perfect. And if we go back to the video connection, even though the internet connection went down, we're still able to see the video stream. So to the end user, it's seamless. Nothing has happened. We still have a great connection. Now, given the time that we have, I really quickly want to show how we work with Office 365. So we have a partnership with Microsoft, which allows us to connect to the nearest point of presence. So with that being said, let me just kill that video. We're going to bring up this Office Network Assessment Tool. And this assessment tool is basically going to showcase how quickly we can connect the nearest point of presence. So real quick, we hit enter here. Basically what we're doing is we're leveraging the API, the REST API that's directly on our appliance to connect to the nearest point of presence. So we're looking at that table that's on our device. And it's going to take a little bit while to pop up. And while that's going up, let me go ahead and launch Office real quick. Here we go. Just to showcase, the RTT latency is what we're interested in. And you can see that there's a 34.5 millisecond connection to the nearest point of presence where Microsoft resides. Now, if you were to go to your local desktop, you're going to notice that if you do the same type of test, if you were to ping, for example, if we go to outlook.office365.com, if you were to ping that on your desktop, you're going to see a time to live that's going to be exponentially longer. And the reason why is because the old technology would backhaul that traffic to the data center instead of connecting to the nearest point of presence. But I think we're catching up on time. I wanted to thank everyone for this demo and hope you learned something. Dan, back to you. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks again, team, and for everyone on here or listening at home. I really appreciate the time and letting us showcase how we approach a cloud-native network. Thanks again for the eGroup team for having us on the Tech Talk, and we hope to do many more here. So looking forward to it, and if there are any questions, please reach out to the eGroup team, or you can reach out to any of your local Citrix representatives to get a little more information about any of our products showcased here, ADC, our traditional workspace, or SD-WAN piece as well. Thanks again.
Thanks, Citrix team. Thank you again for your time and coming out and joining our weekly Tech Talk. I look forward to seeing everyone next week. And until then, everyone stay safe and healthy and take care. Thanks.